Now Entering is made possible with support from Blackford County Community Foundation, Langdon Brothers Seed, with additional support from Smith Insurance Services, Waters Funeral Home, Hartford City Chamber of Commerce, Raymond James, Robert J. Taylor, Petoskey Plastics, KDC Investments, Citizen State Bank, Blackford County Economic Development, Hartford Veterinary Services. Driving through Blackford County on State Road 3, you could pass through Hartford City in just a few minutes, but the locals here would invite you to stop for a look around. Only a block away from State Road 3 stands perhaps the most recognizable building in Hartford City, the Blackford County Courthouse. Opened in 1895 during the heart of the Indiana gas boom, it's one of 2 Hartford City buildings on the National Register of Historic Places. Hartford City's population doubled during the gas boom of the late 19th century, and the glass-making business attracted so many immigrants from Belgium that the south side of the city was commonly referred to as Belgian Town. Today, you'll find residents who are passionate about art, history, or sports. But perhaps the thing citizens here are most passionate about is helping their neighbors and making Hartford City a great place to live. You'll see that in the stories told here by the residents themselves through their own photos and videos. You are now entering Hartford City, Indiana.
The Godfrey Reserve was a Miami, or more appropriately a Miami village northeast of the city. And it came about during the Treaty of St. Mary's in 1818 when the Miami made deals with the U.S. government in exchange for land and allotments. It was here for about 25 years. Francois Godfrey was a fur trader at heart. His father was a fur trader, his father before him, his grandfather. So he came from a long line of fur traders. When Godfrey received the reserve from the United States government, that placed him just right smack dab in the middle of all kinds of military action as far as travel. And when troops travel, they've got supplies from their forts, but they're going to run out in between. So Godfrey's post was right there where it needed to be. But the problem that Godfrey had was his primary trading post was located in Peru. He was out of the loop when it came to the military road and the military money. So when he received the land in 1818, he put up a second trading post and a home, and the village sprung up around that. And so he was there in the middle of all that early military movement. The reserve in Blackford County was over 3,000 acres at one point. It was a large chunk of land, and it was pretty much the last stronghold for the Miami, who had been pushed around, not only by encroaching Europeans, but also other tribes of natives. And then the ultimate migration was farther west. Even Godfrey left around 1838. He left this, went back to Peru, and just a couple years later, Francois Godfrey was gone. I think the biggest misconception that people have about Francois Godfrey and the Miami people is what was propagated by the Europeans, and that was they were a godless horde of savages, when they couldn't have been anything farther from that. Very spiritual people, a very peaceful people. Every year, in order to help portray the Miami accurately, we put on a rendezvous on the reserve, and it's called just that, Rendezvous on the Reserve. And this happens on the weekend after Labor Day every year. And in this living history encampment is a full-blown Miami village. We have trappers and traders and settlers who are moving into the area, and it's a way to experience what life was actually like in that place 200 years ago.
Hi, my name's Todd Boise. I was a member of the 1979 AA State Championship team at Blackford High School, so we're here to talk about that season a little bit. The regular season, we started off against Muncie South and won pretty handily, and then we came back against Muncie North, and it was a really tight game, and for me, that was one of the keys because they had always been kind of a rival. I think that team was very unselfish. We had a bunch of guys that just said, whatever it takes, put me where you need me. And against Muncie Northside, I was terrible. I was at linebacker. John Payne was our nose guard. And we start watching film, and it was evident quickly that I needed to have my hand on the ground, and John probably needed to be standing up. And so we talked, made a switch. The coaches embraced it. I went to nose guard, John moved to linebacker, and I think it was a big help for both of us individually as well as the team. And if you go back and look at the numbers from that defense, it was pretty impressive. We were unscored upon in the first half in all 10 regular season games, gave up 76 points throughout the whole 13-game season, so I think it all worked out pretty well. This community has always been a sports nut community. I can remember as a kid listening to the games on the radio with my dad. 73 and 74 set the tone from a football perspective. Listening to those guys on the radio, coming to the games, especially the home games, just built the foundation for what the program could be and what the team could be in 79. Coach Leith had done a great job here building the program, getting it going.
In 73, we were runner-up at Greenfield, and we came back that night and had a meeting out here in the gym with parents and so forth. And I was brave enough to say, we're going to bring the gold home next year. And unfortunate enough, we did.
We've essentially spent all 7 days of the week together. We started off the week Monday. We would have our practice Monday through Thursday. Obviously Friday we were together for a game, and we'd go hang out together and spend time together on Saturday night. And we would all get together at somebody's house on Sunday afternoon and watch NFL games and munch and just hang out together. So we were together virtually every day of the week, and I think that was one of the things that made our group that much closer, which made us be able to rely on one another and trust one another. And when it came to game time, there was no doubt you could trust your fellow teammates. So it was really, really special.
Coach Lori came in, embraced the legacy, talked about guys that had been here before and what they've done and the foundation that they laid for the 79 team and teams going forward. The postseason, we started off with Lewis Cass and came out of that game with a 28-0 win. Moved on to play Concord, and that was a long bus ride up to Elkhart. Ended up with a 17-14 win coming out of that, and it was just a really good football game, and we came out on top. At this point now we know we're gonna play Noblesville. Noblesville's been number one rated team pretty much all season, going down to the big city at Indianapolis and playing on that field for the state final game. It was a big thrill. I know we took a huge contingent of fans from the community, and again, that was another just really good football game. Two teams just slugging it out. I think we were very opportunistic that night. I think they ended up with 3, maybe 4 turnovers, and we took advantage, and then was able to kind of hold on at the end of the game. The defense stepped up and helped us out there, but it was a great experience. Blackford County's got a rich tradition in football, obviously a 73 state runner-up team, and then a 74 and a 79 state championship team. So that really has kind of set the tone for the tradition of football in Blackford County. People come together on Friday nights and Saturday nights for athletics, which a lot of times is the heart of a community, and that's all well and good. But this is a small farming community, and people take care of each other here. We had all kinds of support on and off the field. It's just a place where I was able to learn the value of a work ethic and getting up and doing your job, being accountable. It was a great place to grow up.
My name is Judy Sodders, and I'm here to talk about the first all-night after prom that began in 1951 here in Hartford City, Indiana. An executive at Overhead Door, Paul McKee, who was also a Kiwanian, decided after his two daughters went to the proms, the kids needed something to do after the prom because they weren't ready to go home. So he came up with an idea of an all-night party, and he talked to his Kiwanians, and they all agreed that was a great idea. So they contacted other organizations, and they began planning for the all-night after prom. It was a very classy event. They had a carpet out, like the red carpet when they have the Oscars, and they would have an announcer from WPGW, which is Portland radio station, and he would interview each couple or person as they came up to the theater, and then after you were interviewed, you walked on in, and all the parents and all the interested bystanders were all out in a crowd, just like they are at the Oscars. And then you would go in and watch a premiere movie. It was a first-rate movie. And after that, everyone went up to the Elks Club, which was just right up on the corner. And they had more dancing, and they had a live band, and they had, of course, refreshments and prizes. And then after that, you could go home and change clothes if you wanted to, and go to the American Legion for breakfast. And then after that, you could go out to the country club, and they had games. They had volleyball, they had hole-in-one, they had lots of other games. They had lots of prizes, lots of more refreshments. And then after that, you went home and crashed, if you lasted that long. I don't know how it caught on other places. I would imagine through the Kiwanis, for one way. But I do know there was an article in Coronet magazine, which was a part of Esquire, and it was a couple pages long. It was Paul McKee's daughter, I think, that wrote it. But I know it made me feel better that I knew they weren't out driving to Ohio or driving to Muncie or, driving out of town to find something to do because they're hyped up because they're having a good time at the prom, and then you just don't go home and go to bed.
I've been a Blackford County native my whole life, lived in Hartford City my whole adult life. David and I met in high school. So we were high school sweethearts, stayed throughout high school. He went to Bloomington for undergrad, I went to Lafayette. He caught my eye because he was just such a caring heart. And it was something that he just lived throughout his life. In college, IU, his major, he was going to be a pilot for the Air Force. We had a fork in the road right after we were married, and he was diagnosed Hodgkin's disease a few months after we were married. And that didn't slow David down one little bit. We had to put medical things in the forefront, but he decided once that was a diagnosis, he had to find something else to do, and he studied law. In undergrad, he was an intern in the Senate, and I think that really sparked a love. He served from grassroots on up. In the State House, he was Senate, and he served on the Technology Committee along with many other committees, but technology was something that he was really noted for. He was a leader in the Senate in technology, and received many awards for that. David served from 1994 to his death in 2008. He was tireless, and his high integrity. It didn't matter what he thought was best for Dave Ford or any one particular person. He served everybody the same. He would not ever take a gift. He didn't want to ever be compromised in making a decision for the right reason. And I'm most proud that he was highly honest, high integrity, hardworking. Senator Long stated that he thought David Ford was the moral fiber of the Senate. And I really believe that is one of the highest compliments anybody could ever get. And David never did this for himself, but he did it for the good of all people, no matter what walk in life you had. And I'm very proud of that. He was a member of St. John's Catholic Church. He was president of the school board there. He was a lay minister. He was a reader. But his example is, anybody that knew him just felt like he lived it. He was always a person that served people. He loved people. He was extremely talented. I think he really felt the need to give back. He had the ability, and he wasn't going to put it under a bushel. He was going to let it shine, and he certainly did.
I'm Leslie Newton, and I'm here to talk to you about why I love the Blackford County Arts Center. It took us months with all kinds of volunteers. It was amazing, the help we had. It was a lot of work, a lot more than you imagine. And finally, we had raised enough money that we started reassembling what we thought would be a wonderful center and a fabulous gallery. It looks quite different inside than it did when the Hallmark was there. There was a drop ceiling. Now we've pulled that down, and now there's a beautiful pressed tin ceiling, the original, that has been renovated. It's kind of bronzy looking. It's beautiful, very high ceiling. We had a really dingy carpet, pulled that up, and JR flooring, put in a vinyl, kind of looks like wood floor, which is really nice looking and easy to take care of. We tore old slatted paneling off the walls and put up drywall and painted that, and the Rotary helped us a lot. They bought the Walker hanging system, and that's what we use in the gallery. They hung it for us, and we have year-round exhibits now using that system, and people have applauded us for this really nice system. As the artists come in, they're really pleased with it.
I think it's brought a lot of life to the downtown area. It's given artists and kids and lovers of art and music a place to come and be a part of the community and be a part of the art center, and it's just a nice place for everybody to go and enjoy the arts and to get involved. You know, we need something that all of us can look at and be proud of. We can go there, our kids can enjoy it for, forever. It's like a home for me, really. I love going there. I like being involved. I like having my kids involved. It's exciting to see the things that they do for the community. It's exciting to see people be excited when they come in and know that we've, put on a neat show, or their kids, went through a piano lesson, or they're learning guitar there, or, it's neat to be able to see that and to know that I was a little nugget of a piece of, this big, huge, awesome thing that is in our community. If you would have told us back then, you're gonna have this fantastic facility that people are gonna be envious of, when they're in, coming from Carmel or from, Brown County, saying, oh my God, we wanted to come up here and see your art center. We were tickled. That makes our whole day when, something like that has happened, and, you're sitting there thinking, this has been the greatest thing ever. That we've created this amazing place from just an idea that was like, oh yeah, we should probably maybe have an art center.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for the newest installment of WIPB's Now Entering series as we visit the town of Hartford City. We've seen some great stories already. Hi, I'm Brad Edmondson, and along with my co-host Sarah Gullion, We are so happy you could join us for this unique local program that gives you the opportunity to get to know the people and places of Hartford City through the stories told by the people who live there. And behind us in the phone bank tonight, we have some of those wonderful storytellers and volunteers.
All right. Yay. Yay. The WIPB production team had a great time visiting Hartford City and learning about what makes this town special. And we're here this evening not only to celebrate Hartford City, but to ask you to be a part of what makes WIPB special, our members. The best way to do that is to make a donation tonight, which helps create more of the local programming you enjoy and want to see on WIPB. Call right now at 1-800-252-9472 to talk to one of our Hartford City phone volunteers, or go online to WIPB.org.
We want to hear from you. Let's get those phones ringing and keep our volunteers busy tonight. If you know folks who are from Hartford City and have moved away, let them know that they can go to WIPB.org and watch the live stream right now. You can also watch us on the WIPB Facebook page. Don't forget to leave us a comment about Hartford City at #NE Hartford City. We also want to give a shout out to those of you attending the watch party at the Blackford County Courthouse. Thanks for joining us this evening.
WIPB loves being able to go out into the communities and connect with you by providing the best in local programming, arts, history, science, and news, as well as through our community engagement activities. We would love it if tonight you take just a minute and make that connection with us by calling in with your support. With your gift of $60, we'll send you the Now Entering Hartford City DVD. Or if you make a donation of $108, we'll send you 2 DVDs. We have bonus material on the DVD, including a look behind the scenes at our production day and footage not seen in the program. All you have to do is call us and talk to one of the volunteers behind us at 1-800-252-9472 or go online at WIPB.org and click Donate at the top of the page.
If you have been watching, you know that the stories you have been seeing tonight are being told by your friends and neighbors from Hartford City, Indiana. They went out, shot the video, collected the photos, and then sat down with the WIPB crew and told all of the stories you are enjoying this evening. You know it's not a small feat to bring it all together. It's a partnership between WIPB and the whole town of Hartford City. And now we are asking you to do your part. Become a member of WIPB. Call 1-800-252-9472 or go online at WIPB.org to make a gift of support. You'll receive your very own copy of the Now Entering Hartford City DVD for a gift of $60, and you'll get 2 DVDs with your donation of $108. So give us a call and let us know that you support Now Entering Hartford City. Phones are ringing.
I think we got a call.
This is great.
We have a few other benefits when you support WIPB tonight. You will receive our on-the-air program guide and WIPB Passport. WIPB Passport makes it easier for you to watch your favorite programs by giving you access to an on-demand library of PBS programming. You can access Passport online anytime 24/7. So make that call now to 1-800-252-9472 or give online at WIPB.org to give now.
Hello, I'm Paula Kerger, president of PBS. I'd like to tell you about a wonderful membership benefit called Passport. With Passport, you can watch your favorite programs anytime, anywhere. Thought-provoking documentaries, insightful science programs, news and public affairs that you can trust, and award-winning dramas. With your qualifying donation, Passport brings more than 1,000 hours of great PBS and local programming to your computer, phone, or digital media player. You can catch up on shows that you may have missed or revisit some of your old favorites. I know that you're going to enjoy the many benefits of Passport, so please make that donation right now, and thank you so much for your support.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
It changes your whole outlook.
It's hard, it's difficult, but it's rewarding.
I was on a kayak whale watching trip. Out of the water came this giant thing. A humpback whale breached on top of us.
It's the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, honoring Dave Chappelle.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station, sign in, and start streaming today.
Thank you so much, folks. The phones are already ringing tonight, and we're so appreciative of your support. The Now Entering series is one of the best and most important things WIPB does. Part of the WIPB mission is to be the local voice for the communities of East Central Indiana, and this evening we are bringing you the stories of Hartford City. The wonderful people of Hartford City came together to make this show possible. Thanks to everyone who has called in supporting great local programs that only WIPB, your local PBS station, can bring you. If you haven't called in yet, then now is the time to call. 1-800-252-9472 or go online at WIPB.org and click the donate button to make your gift in support. Remember, with your gift of support of $60, we'll send you a DVD of Now Entering Hartford City as a thank you gift. Or if you would like to give $108, we'll send you 2 DVDs. The DVD has bonus material including behind the scenes production day footage and much more. In the first segment, you got to hear just a handful of the many stories Hartford City has to tell. Paul Brown, one of the producers of the Now Entering series, is in the studio tonight, and he has one of the storytellers to find out a little bit more. Paul, we'll pass it to you.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. I'm here with one of those storytellers that you just saw in the first segment, Brian Maddox. Brian, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me here, Paul.
Absolutely. Now, we saw your story there about the Godfrey Reserve and Rendezvous on the Reserve. One of the things that came across in your interview on production day but didn't make it into the final story was you have a family connection to Chief Godfrey, which kind of led your family to this area.
We do. If it weren't for Chief Godfrey, there's a good chance I wouldn't be sitting in this chair here at WIPB this evening. The reason why for that is because years and years ago, when the government decided to build a house for Chief Godfrey, one of my relatives came here from southwestern Ohio and actually helped build that house, and the rest of the family followed. And because Chief Godfrey decided to have his reservation there, that's why I'm here.
Well, we're glad. We're glad you're here and
I am too.
Here tonight and being part of the show. Now, you've been in the radio business for years and years, but we got you in front of the camera with the lights on. Tell us a little bit about production day. What was it like to be sitting in front of the lights?
For somebody who's been involved with things like this over the years, WIPB and Now Entering, when we had our production day there at the courthouse, was just a fun time. Not only did we get to interact with some of the people, some of our friends and neighbors, but they were also telling a few stories that I hadn't heard before. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but we had a good time, and I think the effort, what the viewers are seeing tonight, is the result of that effort.
Yeah, for those folks who are watching, and maybe they're watching from Hartford City, maybe they're somewhere else watching on Facebook from some far distance. Why do you think they should be calling in tonight to support WIPB?
Well, this series kind of helps perpetuate itself, and the way is, if they call in tonight, we're going to see more programming from the Now Entering series, and just like the last community helped to fund the Hartford City series, our callers in Hartford City and beyond are going to help support our next round.
This is one of our favorite productions we get to do because the stories that come out of this are things that people are really passionate about. And in your story, we could see that passion come through.
Sure.
It seems like Hartford City has a group of folks in different areas that are really interested in history, keeping the history alive. Why is that important for you, in particularly with the Godfrey Reserve?
Well, to figure out where you're going, you've got to know where you've been. And we look back at the time of Chief Francois Godfrey and the Miami Reservation there northeast of Hartford City, and that was the edge of the frontier at the time. So historically, it was a very, very important time, and we thought that story needed to be told.
Well, we're glad you did. Thank you for joining us here tonight, and we'll throw it back over to Sarah. Sarah?
Thanks, Paul and Brian. We're here celebrating the town of Hartford City, but there are all sorts of reasons to celebrate WIPB. From programs that inform, educate, and inspire, to educational and entertaining children's programs, to in-depth news and the best in cultural and arts programming anywhere. What better way to support the station that brings you such a diverse range of national and local programming than to make a contribution right now? WIPB makes it easy for you. You choose the amount, you choose if you'd like a thank you gift, and you choose how you'd like to pay. It's a simple process. So give us a call right now at 1-800-252-9472 and talk to one of our great and very busy phone volunteers right now. That's great. And or you can go online to WIPB.org and click on donate to make your gift of support on a secure online form.
So we're going to just let you read some of those great comments that we've already got coming in from some of our callers.
Yeah, actually, we've got one from Henry Long, who's a friend of Brian, who was just interviewed with Paul over there. So he wanted to say hi from Hartford City. And we've also got something from Ruth Jennerjohn. She's from Hartford City too, and she says, Hartford City is a great place to raise your kids.
This is fantastic. The phones have been ringing off the hook. This is absolutely amazing. And we really appreciate everybody out there who is supporting us. Thanks to everybody who's called in and supporting WIPB and Now Entering Hartford City. We want to take a moment and thank some of the community sponsors for helping make this program possible. We'd like to thank Smith Insurance Service, Waters Funeral Home, and Raymond James Robert Taylor. Thank you so much for all your support this evening.
And we'd love to thank you. If you're not a member of WIPB yet, now is the time to pick up the phone and give us a call at 1-800-252-9472 or go online at WIPB.org and show your commitment to excellent public television that only WIPB can bring you.
Keep those phones ringing. We greatly appreciate it. And now let's get back to Now Entering Hartford City.
My name is Ethan Cox. I'm the president of Hartford City Civil War Days and the Blackford County Civil War Reenactment Club. Civil War Days started back in 1989 by Orville and Bob Ugan. Their real focus was to work with the community and show them the history of the Civil War and how we battled with each other. 2003, me and my mom, we went to Civil War Days. That was when Orville was actually camping on site in his RV, knocked on his RV. I told him I was interested in helping, and really from then on out, I helped every day that year. When I started college is really when I had to slow down on reenacting and slow down with Civil War Days. I wanted to focus on my career. My push to become a police officer was big, so I was focusing on that. When I achieved that goal, I was actually approached by Orville, I believe it was 2013. He asked me to come back. He was wanting to retire. He'd made a life sacrifice to make sure this event went on, and I didn't want to see it go away. Hartford City needs this event. Blackford County needs this event. It's one of a kind. You can expect to step back to the 1860s, experience what life was like back then, what it was like to be a soldier, what it was like to be a family member of a soldier. You can actually talk to soldiers, talk to the generals, talk to Abe Lincoln. The reenactors love to teach history. They want people to understand what it was like during the Civil War. They want to interact with the spectators. They want them to ask questions. They have no problem going up to people and asking them to ask questions. If they have any questions, they want to interact with them. That's why they're in this hobby. Saturday, we probably have approximately 1,500 to 2,000 people come through our gates. On Friday, we had over 1,000 students come through our gates. You can read about anything in a book, but how many times can you go and actually see things? You learn things when you get to see them, when you get to feel them, when you get to interact and ask the questions. Those kids get to at least understand that that's what it was like during a battle. They don't have to read about it. They can see it themselves. During the event, the community pours a lot of support out for us. They come see us. If it wasn't for the community, we wouldn't have Civil War Days. When the event's not going on, we still get help from the community. They're always asking, well, what can we do to make this better? What can we do to help you out? And that's what I feel real important, is that the community's involved. I get the community involved, but the community wants to be involved. And I feel like that's special about Hartford City.
The Presbyterian Church and the Courthouse are the only two buildings in Hartford City that are on the historical list, and ours has been on there for about 15 years.
It was a cold day in December in 1843 when several hardy settlers came to meet the Reverend Samuel Steele. He was a circuit riding preacher, and he had come to help these settlers get a church started. Although their numbers were few, the church did grow, and they began to think about that brick church they'd been wanting and began fundraising for it. Everyone was anxious to have the brick church, and donations came in freely. In 1893, the church was dedicated.
We have a window, a stained glass window, made in Belgium, put together, then taken apart and put in boxes and shipped over here. And we had Belgian men here who worked in our glass factories, and they put it back together. It is the largest stained glass window in the state of Indiana that's all in one piece, and it is beautiful.
In 1910, the church organized rummage sales and fundraising competitions to purchase a 2-manual pipe organ. Andrew Carnegie, who also funded the construction of the library across the street, pushed the fund drive over the goal with a final gift of $1,000. A recent complete renovation by the Lima Organ Company brought the instrument back to its current excellence.
We have a thing called Silver Lining, where if young mothers take their children to the doctor, to the dentist, to the library, get shots, every time they go, they get a little ticket. And when they bring the tickets to our Silver Lining, they can exchange them for diapers, for clothing, for lotion, clear up to strollers and beds. I think it's kind of a dual purpose. One, it helps the children get things, but it also gets their parents encouraged to take them to the doctor, to get them shots, to take them and have their teeth checked, and have things done for them. So I think it's kind of a win-win situation.
The requirements for being on the National Register of Historic Places are the place has to be valuable and worthy of being preserved, and it has to be at least 50 years old. And our church is both of those things, and we're very proud of it.
My name is Ruth Jennerjohn, and I'm here to talk about the business my husband and I built in Hartford City, called Jennerjohn Machine. If you ever have purchased an item, used an ATM machine, bought a lottery ticket, pumped gas at your local station, you were given a receipt. And that receipt was probably made on a machine that was invented and produced and first built in Hartford City, Indiana. Before we ever started our company, my husband Brian and a couple of other gentlemen started a company here in Hartford City on the southwest corner of Jefferson and Franklin in the old Hartford City newspaper building. We were going to produce cash register rolls. My husband's job was to build the machine to make the cash register rolls. Well, he found out that he really wasn't all that interested in cash register rolls. What he really wanted to do was build machinery. And so that's how we started our company in 1979. We started it in the dining room of our house. That became our office. Irish Tool, a machine shop south of town, was used to build the machine. He assembled the machine, and I was the gopher. I picked up bolts and bearings and other industrial components from Muncie, Marion, and the neighboring cities, but brought it back to Irish Tool to build our Jennerjohn Machine cash register roll maker. Remember those machines where you gave the merchant your credit card, he slapped it down, he rolled something back and forth, and then he handed you the carbon copy? Well, this was great, except it was very slow if there were people lined up and you did this for each person. So the business had to come up with another way, and that's when they developed 2 and 3 ply rolls. Here's an example of a roll. Most of the machines at that time, 12 rolls would come off in a cycle. Brian's machine was 50% larger. Plus, his machine, the cycle time was faster, and his rolls were better quality. The word got around that a Jennerjohn machine was really good. But as the demand grew, we realized we had to have our own machine shop. Our friends, John and Dee Jackson, had Hartford Packing in Hartford City, which was a tomato factory. and they lent us some space. This little lean-to doesn't look too good now, but it was fine back then. We hired our first employees. We bought a used milling machine. We bought a used lathe. We bought a used cutoff saw, and we began producing more than one machine at a time. Eventually, the demand was big enough that we could afford to buy a building, and we found a building just across the county line in Matthews, Indiana. The very first rewinder that Brian built cost $6,000 to make. The fully automatic rewinders that we sell now with a few bells and whistles cost $500,000. My husband passed away in 2015, but in 2011, we sold our business to our son Chris and his wife Christy. But both generations, actually 3 generations, we all still live in Hartford City, and we all enjoy contributing to our community. Our rewinders are all over the world, in all the continents except Antarctica, in very interesting cities: London, England, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Durban, South Africa, Santiago, Chile, several in Sydney, Australia, in New Zealand, and of course they're all over the United States and Canada. But it all started in little old Hartford City.
Back in the 1800s, women really wanted to spend some time with each other in social groups too. But part of what they did was to get together so that they could share what they've learned and also learn from each other. And so Wit and Wisdom started in 1893 here in Hartford City, and we've continued for 126 years, and we still do that. Get together to have a good time and to share something new we've learned, and then to have some discussion about it. We meet in each other's homes. We would start a meeting with a Bible reading, and that would be followed by the program. A program typically for us nowadays would be someone's interest. It may be a trip they have taken, for instance, to Ireland or to Alaska, or something about music in the 1940s. It could be anything. But it's interesting to the person who is giving the program, and consequently to the rest of us too. One of our members dressed up as Coco Chanel a few years ago with a hat, a cigarette, the whole outfit. And she talked about her years as a fashion designer in Paris. And that was a hit, of course. The heart of the Wit and Wisdom Club is really learning. Learning because it's interesting. Learning because it keeps us fresh. Learning because we have a chance to share with someone else and get some feedback on what some of our new ideas are. And that keeps going to Wit and Wisdom meetings always interesting, always fresh. The daughter of one of our longtime Wit and Wisdom members brought to me a whole stack of program booklets that came from Wit and Wisdom years. Her mother had kept every single one of those booklets, and we all feel that way, I think, about Wit and Wisdom. And if you were to look in my desk, you would find a stack of Wit and Wisdom programs too. I love Hartford City because there are people here who are always willing to help, always willing with a warm heart to offer an ear, and to mentor younger people in the community along. And in a way, that's what Wit and Wisdom does.
My name is Fred Hoffman. I am with the Blackford Youth Soccer and the Blackford Greenway. We started the soccer league in 1993 when a group of friends and their young children, and I included, wanted to play soccer. And my first reaction when they said, hey, we want to play soccer, I said, hey, we don't do that here. And then I tried to open my mind a bit. So we founded the league in that year. The first year we had a couple hundred kids, and it just kept growing from there. I remember coming home the first time after the sign-ups, and I had this whole pile of paper and money, and I said, what are we going to do now? Well, then we had to get coaches, and then you had to find a place to play. In '97, we got our nonprofit status, and then in '99, we got a $295,000 Lilly Endowment grant through the foundation here to build our 10-acre complex. Well, we run about 500 kids in the fall on a recreational instructional league from 5 counties. Kids come in and play a soccer in the fall, August and September, and then we do a small middle school traveling league in the spring. The high school players come over, and then the high school teams play on the complex as well. So it's a busy place. We play primarily in the evenings and an occasional Saturday. It's amazing that it's been 26 years, and now I have 3 grandsons that play soccer there. So it just kind of keeps going. And a lot of folks who have kids there, their grandkids are playing there, so it's a nice opportunity. We have people coming back all the time to coach their children, and they played there when they were 4 years old, and now they come back and they're coaching their kids who are also 4 and 5. With the Blackford County Commissioners, early on in 2000, we received grant money to build this new trail that's north of Hartford City that connects to the high school. It was about a $1.3 million project, and it's about 2 miles long. It's used a lot by the high school students training, and with folks that are walking and biking as well. The kids have something to do in the soccer, and a lot of folks who like to walk daily have a nice, safe place to do that. And with the health concerns that everybody has now, everybody's trying to be a bit healthier. I think it's been a big impact on our community, and we hope to do more.
I'm Tony Ugan. I'm the athletic director at Blackford Junior Senior High School, and I'm here to talk about Bruin basketball. We were going through some difficult times years ago. The Bruin basketball program had lost 71 out of 72 games, and things were pretty difficult at the time. And basically what happened is we had a coach contact me after I had already done some interviewing for the position, and actually had a coach picked out at the time. And about 2 hours later, I got a call, and he said, I'm an old man. I want you to just hear me out. I'm interested in the basketball job. 9 o'clock the next morning, a rather tall, 6'6" elderly gentleman walks in and introduces himself as Jerry Hoover. I didn't know who he was, but he sat down and he started to share some stuff, and he said, basically, this is a unique package deal that we're going to have. I have some relatives. A son of mine's going to come. He has 3 sons, and my son has a cousin who has a son who's an outstanding basketball player named Luke Brown. I'd never heard of Luke Brown, had no clue who they were, but I thought, I'll hear them out. And basically they shared their story that if he got the job, they would come to Blackford County, move to the community, and join the program, and it couldn't have turned out better since that point. JD and Luke moving in made an immediate impact on the program because of their athleticism they had, and JD being 6'5" and Luke being the shooter he was, and the work ethic that he had immediately impacted the rest of the kids. And I think that's what we were missing. We had some great kids go through that difficult time, but all of a sudden we had this influx of talent, so the other kids got to see, this is the effort that we need to rise to if we're going to be successful. And the kids, from day one, it was like a light switch. All of a sudden the kids were playing harder, they were more aggressive, obviously they were excited about what was going on. I have a photograph of the 17J County game, and you can literally, on the whole side of the court, there's maybe 30 people in the stands. 2 years later, it's almost completely full, and people are clamoring just to find a seat. And the excitement generated, we've got a lot of notoriety throughout the state and even the country that are people wanting to do articles on the change and the immediate impact they've had and how that's affected our community. A community with 8,000 or whatever we have, 7,000 in the county right now, and we have 3,500 people at a ball game on a Friday night. That's incredible. It says a lot about the community itself. Jerry chose Blackford because he shared early that what he loves to do is turn programs around. I think he mentioned when he came here that he had turned around 8 to that point, and he was looking for his 9th. We've had tough times for years, but he was willing to come here and to see that immediate impact on the kids and the excitement built in the community as a result of what they've done since they've got here is incredible.
8 points. Well, we're getting ready to turn it on. Okay.
All
okay.
from way down.
I don't know if anyone, what everyone forgets is how great Beckley is at defense. Littleton,
look at that.
There's a lot of good things going on. The girls basketball program has a good group of freshmen right now, and it's neat to see the older kids who have had it tough. They've only won 1 game the last 2 years, and to see their effort rise as a result of having an influx of freshmen with some talent. And the 8th grade's got some talent about it. So they're probably going to be pretty good here the next 3, 4, probably more than that, 4 and 5 years. Cross country's doing some great things right now. They've established a young running club where a lot of the elementary kids are involved, so the numbers are growing there. More important to me is they're representing us in a class act manner, which is what we always want. They're handing the ball to the officials, they're calling people sir. They're just doing a great job representing us in a time where sometimes kids don't get the credit they deserve, so I'm super proud of that.
Great segment of fantastic stories about Hartford City. A lot of the people that you're seeing in those stories are behind us as volunteers today. They're on the phones. The phones have been ringing off the hook. Just a reminder, you can call in while the program's going on. I know you want to watch it, but you can do that as well.
Yeah, please do. They want something to do back here. So, hi, I'm Sarah Gullion along with Brad Edmondson, and we are taking a quick break from the program. Thanks for joining us this evening for Now Entering Hartford City, the most recent installment in WIPB's Now Entering series. We wanted to remind everyone that in addition to watching us on TV tonight, we're streaming live at WIPB.org and on Facebook. Be sure to comment with #NE Hartford City. In fact, we've got some of those right here.
Those folks are already calling in. So Jane Peevler from Wisconsin. We've got folks already watching us again all over the country. So thank you very much for watching us from there this evening.
We've also got Ron Wolf from Hartford City watching us.
Meredith Bentley is at home. Thank you, Meredith, for watching us from your home this evening. We appreciate that.
And hi to Angie Langdon from Selma.
Edie Tarter from Hartford City is, of course, watching us from there this evening. Again, the folks at the Blackford County Courthouse, we want to thank you for doing the watch party up there.
And we also have one of our advisory council members who is calling in, Lorraine Slater. She is in Upland, and she says she appreciates all of the Now Entering shows.
Karen Sulit in Hartford City is happy to see the series and enjoys seeing all the memories from Hartford City.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's exactly what we're here for, right? The Now Entering series gives local communities an opportunity to have a voice and become visual storytellers. Working with WIPB, your friends and neighbors became the filmmakers and helped us create the Now Entering episode you are watching tonight. WIPB had a great time partnering with Hartford City for this episode. The production crew spent the day at the Hartford City Courthouse getting to know the storytellers and their stories. Each person had so much pride when they spoke of their town, and WIPB takes pride in being able to bring you quality local programs like Now Entering. Let us know you are enjoying this evening's show by calling 1-800-252-9472 or going online to WIPB.org and make your donation. Folks are already doing it. The phones are ringing again. When you give $60, you'll receive the Now Entering Hartford City DVD as a thank you gift. The DVD has bonus footage you will not see on this evening's show, as well as behind-the-scenes footage of production day. If you contribute $108 tonight, we'll send you 2 DVDs of Now Entering Hartford City, one for yourself and one to send to Wisconsin.
From Ken Burns' epic history of country music to American experience chronicling how Woodstock helped revolutionize music, to the final season of Poldark that swept us away. You know that WIPB will bring you even more engaging experience like this throughout 2020. This evening, I ask you to be part of this excitement with your contribution to help fund the amazing shows you enjoy on WIPB and to help create even more new series and specials like Now Entering Hartford City. Member support like yours is especially important and powerful as WIPB plans more programs, outreach, and initiatives for 2020. Join us now online at WIPB.org or call and talk to one of our great volunteers who are also the stars of the show tonight behind me at 1-800-252-9472. Thank you for making more great public television possible on WIPB.
WIPB believes that people want to understand the world around them and that everyone can benefit from access to the arts, nature, science, and innovation. That's why we invest in programs like NOVA, Nature, and Masterpiece. It's why we produce local shows such as Wellness Matters, The Round Table, and Now Entering. WIPB believes our society is enhanced when people have access to diverse perspectives presented in a balanced way. People who participate in civic life and engage in their communities help make their communities a better place to live. That's why WIPB partners with many community organizations on projects that focus on education, arts, health, and economic development. Membership support makes all possible. If you believe in these values too, we welcome you to join us by calling 1-800-252-9472.
So if you're not a member of WIPB, we hope that today is the day you will be inspired to join us. It only takes a few minutes. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 1-800-252-9472 or go online at WIPB.org and show your commitment to excellent public television that makes a difference. If you make a gift of support tonight with a contribution of $60, we'll send you the Now Entering Hartford City DVD, which will have bonus footage and photos. And if you can give a little more, such as a gift of $108, you will receive 2 DVDs of Now Entering Hartford City as a thank you. For your gift of $60 or $108, you're also eligible to receive an added benefit, WIPB Passport. Passport gives you access to on-demand library of thousands of hours of PBS programming with new shows added weekly. You can watch your favorite programs online when you want them 24/7. Passport is great for those of you who have a busy schedule and can't always make time to watch your favorite program each week.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
It changes your whole outlook.
It's hard, it's difficult, but it's rewarding.
I was on a kayak whale watching trip. Out of the water came this giant thing. A humpback whale breached on top of us.
It's the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, honoring Dave Chappelle.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station. Sign in and start streaming today.
Our world is filled with never-ending wonders that amaze, surprise, and delight us. And one of the great things about this series is that it celebrates the wonderful stories of East Central Indiana. The history, the school spirit, the people, the uniqueness of each of its towns. For decades, WIPB has been committed to bringing it all home to you. Our purpose is clear: to be an invaluable resource of news, ideas, and inspiration. Please help ensure that there will always be community-centered programs right here on WIPB. It's not too late to call in your support for a program like this. Call 1-800-252-9472 or go online at WIPB.org. We're going to head over to Paul Brown, one of the Now Entering producers, who has another one of the storytellers with him.
Brad, I'm here with one of our wonderful storytellers, Ruth Jenner-John, joining me here in the studio. And Ruth, can you take me back to production day? You're sitting down in front of those bright lights and you're bringing some pictures and things with you. What was that like behind the scenes?
Hey, it was so much fun, Paul. I think we were all nervous, like, how is this going to work? And I know all of us, myself and my friends that I talked to later, we messed up a lot. We stuttered and stammered and didn't say what we wanted to say, but you guys took it back and you edited and you made us look good. Thank you.
Well, that's our goal. That's our goal for sure. And what a wonderful story you had there about your family, the family business that, is still, right around the corner, and you guys are still living in Hartford City. If I'm not mistaken, one of your children and some grandchildren are still in Hartford City?
My son, who bought the business, lives there, and he has 4 children, and they're all in Hartford City. And
I understand you've got a daughter in Wisconsin who's already called into the show tonight.
Thank you, Jane.
And this is one of the things that's really special about tonight, because we're live online as well as over the air. Folks from Wisconsin and all over the place can call in. And what does that mean about Hartford City, that we've got folks calling from other states wanting to be part of this production?
Well, I think I grew up in a farming community in Wisconsin, and we always said you could take the boy off the farm, but you could never take the farm out of the boy. And I think that's Hartford City. You can take the boy away from Hartford City, but you can't take Hartford City out of the boy.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, Ruth. And I know you've made a cameo in a couple of other stories other than the one that you were the storyteller for. So you're all over the place in Hartford City, I'm sure. So thank you, Ruth, and let's go back over to Sarah.
Come back here.
Thanks, Paul and Ruth. Remember, we are also streaming live, so if you have friends or family that don't live in our viewing area, they can watch us online at WIPB.org or on our Facebook page. The crew spent a day in Hartford City interviewing the storytellers. Community members collected photos and videos of the production staff at WIPB put it all together. It's truly a community effort. And we want to be able to you to be a part of that, what keeps programs like this on WIPB. Thanks to everyone who has called in already to support WIPB and now entering Hartford City, including...
I got Peggy Fisher from Eaton. So she's saying great job on the video. I don't know if that's us or if that's what's going on, but my guess
think
is
it's the artistry of the
okay,
video.
so it's everybody else.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Carol Hunt from Hartford City, thank you very much for calling in this evening. We appreciate that.
Great. And then we also have people who are commenting on Facebook. Sally Conwell, it says, "Go Bruins." And then there's a Randall Maddox, and he's actually watching from Green Valley, Arizona through Facebook Live. And we also had a question that we noticed that came through on Facebook from Susan. She wanted to know how you could find other now enterings from other towns. And we know that there are 2 up on the Facebook page, WIPB's Facebook page. Tipton and Rushville are both there if you want to check those out.
Yep, it can also be found online as well through WIPB.org, so we're very excited about that. Obviously, we're very busy back here. We've got a lot of folks calling in. This is what we want. Again, you can certainly call in while the video is going on as well. I know you want to watch, but there's an opportunity here. We also want to take this time to thank our premium presenting sponsors, Blackford County Community Foundation and Langdon Brothers Seed, for their support of now entering Hartford City.
Blackford County Community Foundation improves life in Blackford County by helping donors help others forever. The foundation gives grants and scholarships from gifts and then manages those gifts so there will be funds for years to come. Langdon Brothers Seed Company provides any type of grass seed for hay, pasture, CRP, lawn or sports fields, and also lawn fertilizer and herbicides. Langdon Brothers Seed is proud to be part of the Hartford City community since 1936.
So many people were instrumental in making this project a success, getting the word out in town, hosting a town hall meeting, and more.
We want to thank everyone who was involved in the planning of this program, and we want to thank those of you who have called in tonight with a contribution. We've already read a bunch of names. Our phones are absolutely packed. There's people waving back here. It's fantastic.
But if you haven't called in, now's the time to make that difference to ensure the future of public television in your community. It's easy to do and just takes a few minutes, and it really does make a big impact.
Call now, 1-800-252-9472, or contribute online at WIPB.org. Now let's get back to now entering Hartford City.
I'm Elizabeth Witt, and today I'm going to be talking about the Blackford County Community Foundation. Our community foundation was established in 1997. We actually merged 2 community foundations from Montpelier and Hartford City. When we started, we only had $85,000 in assets, and under the direction of executive directors Ben Oswalt, Patty Polson, and Dave Bowman, we have grown now to over $10 million in assets. Since 1997, we've awarded almost $2 million in scholarships to students in Blackford County, whether they're high school graduates or they're already in college and they're continuing their education. And we've also awarded 38 Lilly Endowment Community Scholarships through the Community Foundation. And as far as grants go, we've awarded almost $3 million in grants since 1997, which is just incredible given the size of our community. We help our donors to support causes that they're passionate about. So many times they'll come to us and they'll want to do something in memory of a loved one. We also support something that's called the Blackford County Promise, which helps children in grades K through 6 currently to establish College Choice 529 accounts and really start thinking about their future. Together, Ben Oswalt and Patty Polson, they started a program called the Women of Worth. And it's a giving circle that allows individuals, specifically women in our community, to contribute as small as $25 a year. Half of that $25 contribution goes into a grant fund, which benefits projects with women and children in Blackford County, and the other half goes into an endowment fund. That endowment fund has grown so much that it could award a $1,200 grant each year forever. So something that started small that we weren't sure about or we weren't sure how it was going to work has grown into something large that has changed the lives of so many women and children in our community and will continue to do so forever. I actually grew up in Blackford County. And after I graduated from Blackford High School, I went on to continue my education at Ball State University. I came back to Hartford City, and my first real job out of college was as the office manager at the Blackford County Community Foundation. And so now that's what I get to do every single day. I've gone from being a scholarship recipient and a grant recipient to the office manager and now to the executive director. And it's amazing to be on the other side of it and now to be getting to connect these donors with what they care about and changing our community for the better. I love Hartford City because we are surrounded by so many generous and supporting people who are making Hartford City a better place to live, work, and thrive.
The Rotary Club of Hartford City was chartered by Rotary International on April the 1st of 1920, and records say that our first meeting of the local Hartford City Rotary occurred on November 26th of 1920. Well, this is a special year for the Hartford City Rotary Club because it marks the 100th year of our existence. The Rotary Clubs International was founded by a gentleman in Chicago, basically named Paul Harris, and he started it with Rotary by creating a club that would be moving around and meeting at different places. And it caught on and became citywide, statewide, countrywide pretty quickly. So the rest of this year will be important to us with special activities to commemorate 100 years of the Hartford City Rotary Club. We do a lot of fundraising and try to come in and turn it around to good projects for the community, Hartford City and the county.
I'm Larry Tyler, Rotarian here in Hartford City, and my wife Doris is also a Rotarian. We've both been active in the club for many years.
Coda Child has been my pet project for years. Seeing the expression on a child or an adult's face after they find a coat is worth all the time spent in collecting these coats. I will never forget a young teenager who is deaf and went to a special school in Georgia. He kept thanking me in his own special way for his coat and gave me a hug with tears in his eyes. I had a few tears also. Many children have kept warm over the years thanks to the people in our county.
The project that I hold dear to Rotary is Coda Child. Each year we collect coats throughout the community. Last year we had 125 coats donated just by a family who took that on as a project. And other times we have money. This year we had $850 donated to buy new coats. We usually have 10 to 12 Rotarians that help the day of distribution. The kids are just so excited because sometimes they've not had a new coat before. And so that's where my passion is with children.
We also do a lot of community purchases. An example would be the vests, the bulletproof vests that we were able to fund and buy for the Sheriff's Department. We found out that the bulletproof vests have a shelf life. The staff was reaching a point where those bulletproof vests would be not as effective as they would be at the outright purchase. We jumped at the chance to help that. It's a perfect example of some of the things we like to do. So we began raising funds and applying for grants through the Rotary International itself, and we were able to get funding to purchase bulletproof vests for the Sheriff's Department. So those are examples of some of the things we do, and we're really proud that we're able to accomplish this as a small club. We're really proud of what we're able to do.
Kay Waters. My husband Ted and I own the Waters Funeral Home in Hartford City. We've owned the funeral home for 42 years. The house on 501 West Washington Street was built in 1892 and 93 by H.B. Smith and his wife. During the process of building the house, there was a fire, so the family had to settle for a smaller house. That's hard to imagine since it has 11 rooms. It had 11 fireplaces that were gas-fired, so it was a very good-sized house. In 1946, Harold Markin bought the home and renovated it to become a funeral home. He had to add 5-stall garage in the back, and they brought a rope-operated elevator from the funeral home, which was downtown Hartford City, and that rope-operated elevator is still being used today to bring caskets to different levels. In 1977, Ted and I moved back to Hartford City and lived in the funeral home, and we bought the funeral home in 1981. It was tricky raising kids in the funeral home with 5 kids running about. They frequently were sent to Grandma's house during visitation and funerals, so there wouldn't be thumping noises from upstairs. The boys, Todd especially, took an interest in the funeral home, and he went to mortuary school. And Brian surprised us by telling us he was interested when he was a senior in high school. So both boys are now funeral directors. Lieutenant Governor Kernan in 1998 put us up for an award for a 100-year business, a business that had been operating continuously for 100 years. I think it's maybe more comfortable for people to come into a stately home as a funeral home and know that the family that takes care of their loved ones lives there.
I'm Sandy Langdon, and I'm talking about the peacemakers from Zion Lutheran Church. They piece quilts together to be sent overseas to third world countries, and some of them stay in the United States for people who have had natural disasters and are out of their homes. The peacemakers began in the 1990s, and they continue to this day. They meet twice a month at the church, and a lot of work is done individually in people's homes. The material they use is all recycled material. It is old sheets, old bedspreads, old blankets, curtains. People from the church, friends of the church, community members, all donate material for these quilts. Then they cut them into pieces and sew the pieces together to make quilt tops that are approximately 70 inches square. Then these quilt tops are taken back to church, and twice a month the ladies get together, push tables together, lay these quilt tops out, and make the quilts. If they go overseas to a third world country, lots of times they'll be used as a hanging partition in a home. They might be used as a carrier for children or elderly people who can't walk. I think the women are very proud of what they have created. These are not art quilts, these are utilitarian quilts. The women have a good time getting together. Of course, when they're sitting around quilting or knotting their quilts, there's a good time for visitation and socialization. So it's a real good fellowship for them. Just a couple weeks ago, they sent 290 quilts to Fort Wayne, a distribution place. A couple years ago, they sent approximately the same number to Fort Wayne, and the people in Fort Wayne said, well, how many churches does this represent? And Our Lady said, well, it's just our own church. We're the only ones, it's just us. So they were quite surprised that a small church like ours could have that many quilts. I love Hartford City because people work together for underprivileged people. I like the way the churches work together. I think even 10 or 15 years ago, the churches didn't work together as much as they do today, and I appreciate that.
I'm Ron Branson, and I'm here to talk about the different churches here in the community, and in particular, my church, which is Grace United Methodist Church. That's where I serve right now as pastor. There's the Wesleyan Church on one end of town, and there's the Lighthouse on the other end of town, and Grace is right in between with our sister United Methodist Church Trinity right around the corner. We have a little bit of everything. There's a few Pentecostal churches, we've got a Baptist temple, the Nazarene Church. We do have a lot of really interesting things going on where the churches, though each has their own different appeal, do things together. One of my favorite stories is a year ago, we were able to actually, during the National Day of Prayer, gather members from churches throughout the community. We encircled the courthouse with people who were praying for the town, the state, and their country. And based on the size of our community, enough people to encircle the courthouse had to be virtually all of the different denominations coming together to make that happen. Grace has been involved in a transition right now for the 65-year-old preschool. We had a preschool that was started, in fact, as a kindergarten 65 years ago. And last year we recognized that it had reached the point where it was no longer feasible to do part-time preschool. And so we began the program of transitioning it into a full-time 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 5-day-a-week, full year-round daycare with a preschool element integrated into it. Folks who aren't able to afford that kind of care will be able to get vouchers so that they can send their children to preschool, which most studies say is the best way to break the cycle of poverty. So we're really excited about that. We will have people at the preschool who are paying, and we'll have people who are on vouchers. And the thing that I think is the most interesting is that oftentimes children find themselves at different odds when they get to school because they come from different backgrounds, but these children will have friends who cover all of those different backgrounds. And so I look forward to the idea that we're breaking boundaries, preparing kids for school, helping them to be everything that they need to be as they get ready to go into their lives. You know, I just think that one of the things that's most important in our community is that there are a lot of folks, both through faith communities and through other organizations, that are really working hard to try to make this the kind of place that people want to live. And if you wanted to ask me why I loved Hartford City, that would be the reason. It's the people who recognize the good and the prosperous future that's available here and are working really hard to make that happen.
My name is Brian Blevins, and I'm the founder of Hope House in Hartford City. Since I was about 17 years old, I struggled with a substance use disorder, and a lot of hurt, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt has come through my substance use disorder. But on November 24th, 2015, I was arrested for actually possession and dealing in heroin. There was a gentleman that came to see me. His name was Henry Long. And when he came to see me, they led me into a room, and he asked me, he said, "Brian," he said, "if you died today," he said, "where would you go?" And that one question right there, I mean, just really broke my heart, because I grew up in church. I was most varsity letters, graduating Blackford High School. I was class president of my class. So, you know, I was a good kid. I just went down, you know, the wrong path. And the question of where would I go, I knew the answer to that question. And right there, he kind of led me, you know, to Christ in that room. So after Christmas, I had gotten into recovery, and I was going to NA, AA, A Better Life's Brianna's Hope, Celebrate Recovery. There was a meeting every day in Hartford City, but there was no meeting on Sunday. So I wanted something different. And the Grace United Methodist Church had allowed me to start a meeting, and it happened to be next door in a house, actually, right beside the church. Our first meeting, we had, I think, 25 people, and we provided a meal right there on the back porch, hot dogs and hamburgers. And, you know, we were socializing and sharing our stories, and we started growing, and we grew so fast that we grew out of the house. So we went from the house to the basement, and now we provide a meal in the basement, and we've been blessed to be able to go to the sanctuary of Grace United Methodist Church, which we've been there going on 4 years in March. I'm a humble person, so just being able to reach and help one person is an amazing thing. But at the Hope House in Hartford City, we fed about 17,000 people. So, you know, it's just very exciting to see what Christ is doing in the Hope House. I came from such a state of brokenness and hopelessness that I really didn't see any value in myself. And today, I work in the hospital, so if somebody overdoses or struggling through the birthing unit or the critical care unit, that I'm on call through Marion General Hospital. So my life is serving people with a substance use disorder. So, you know, what's going on in my life today is just an absolute miracle. A lot of people say it's a choice, others say it's a disease, but I know that it took 25 years of my life. I'm almost 4 years clean, November 24th, so recovery is possible. So, you know, I'm trying to, you know, pay my debt to Hartford City for all the wrongs that I've done, and I just want to be the light for someone else who maybe doesn't have a chance, or, you know, not to go down the wrong path. And I just hope that my story just can continue to help other people right here in Hartford City.
Thank you guys for joining us this evening. I just want to comment on some of the things that are going on here in the studio. I know you've seen a lot of great stories, but what's been amazing to me is to see Ruth Jenner-John tonight reciting the Rotary anthem as that was being played, as people connecting who were in high school together. That's the really cool thing about this series, is how it brings people together, and we're seeing that right here in our studio. Now entering Hartford City this evening, I am Brad Edmondson along with Sarah Gullion, and we are coming to you from the WIPB studios on the campus of Ball State. Again, it's been a great evening celebrating the stories and the people of Hartford City.
It really has, Brad. We cannot thank the people of Hartford City enough for participating in this series. It's the stories of your friends and neighbors coming to life on screen. And behind us on our phone bank, we have those friends and neighbors, the residents and storytellers from Hartford City who are taking your calls of support right now. We want to take a minute right now and thank those of you who have called in with your gift to WIPB.
So Sharon Etzroth, I believe I've got that right, or Eltzroth, she's on Facebook watching from Winter Haven, Florida. Hello, Hartford City, a great place to live and work, and also gives a shout out to Angie Rapp, one of our folks here at WIPB.
That's awesome. Also, we have one from John Velasquez from Hartford City, and he says, we learned something new today. We've lived in Hartford City for over 15 years. And hello, soccer coach Fred Hoffman.
There you go. Reed Moisner from Blue Collar Plumbing in Hartford City. Thank you very much for calling in and making a gift this evening.
And we also have Ethel, I think it's Ethel Dawn, and she says hello from Jacksboro, Indiana.
Tom and Ann Brown from Lafayette. They are proud of their son Paul. Paul's over there getting ready for another interview. And the people of Hartford City.
Also, we have Mayor Dan Eckstein from Hartford City. He's watching with 40 people at City Hall right now.
Thank you. Shout out to that group out there again. Patricia Oswalt, Hartford City, enjoying the show. I've learned several new things. This has been great this evening. And again, Meredith, I apologize earlier. I said you're at home. You're in Hume, New York. So thank you very much for watching in Hume, New York. We appreciate everybody who's watching us online. Keep posting your comments at hashtag NE Hartford City. We love hearing from you. And if you have friends or family who can't watch the show on TV, we are streaming this live on Facebook and through WIPB.org.
I'm going to say two more real quickly. Rita Bell from Hartford City. Great job to everyone who made this production possible, to the production team. And then Steve Fallenkamp from Alexandria. Thanks to his parents, Steve and Catherine, for their dedication to the community of Hartford City. When you call in with your gift of $60, we'll send you the Now Entering Hartford City DVD as a thank you. Or if you can give a little more with a gift of $108, we'll send you 2 DVDs as a thank you gift, one for you and one for a friend. There's bonus material on the DVD that you won't see on tonight's broadcast, including a look behind the scenes of production day and from the WIPB studios. All you have to do is call us and talk to one of these lovely volunteers behind me, 1-800-252-9472, or go online at WIPB.org.
We are here tonight sharing the stories of Hartford City. Stories that can only be told by your local PBS station, WIPB. Help support the station that brings you such powerful local storytelling by making a contribution right now. We make it easy for you. You choose the amount, you choose if you'd like a thank you gift, and you choose how you'd like to pay. Don't put off making that call. Now is the time to show your love for your hometown of Hartford City and your local PBS station. WIPB takes pride in serving Hartford City and all of East Central Indiana every day with programs you love. We want to hear from you. Your financial support, no matter the amount, really does make a difference. 1-800-252-9472. We've talked to a couple of the storytellers tonight, and I think Paul has another in the hot seat. Paul, are you ready to go?
I have Todd Boise here in the hot seat, and Todd, as we learned about earlier in the show, one of the members of the 1979 Blackford State Championship football team.
Correct.
So thanks for telling that story on the show. Can you take us behind the scenes as you were getting ready for your interview, gathering all of the newspaper articles, the videos, and everything that you brought to us to make it into that final production?
Sure.
What was that like for you?
It was a really neat trip down memory lane. I've had multiple boxes of those items for years, and actually got a few more from my mom here within the last year or so. So it was really a lot of fun to go through that, look back at how the season progressed, and pull out the old newspaper articles and the things that we got from the team after the season to see the accomplishments and see the things that we were able to do as a team. So it was really a lot of fun. Time would fly by. You'd think, okay, I'm going to look at this for a couple of minutes, and then 30, 45 minutes later, you're going, I got to go back to work, or I've got to do this or that. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad to have had that opportunity.
Yeah, and this was a special story too, because we also got to hear from some of the members of the 1974 team.
Correct. Yeah.
What was it like for you as you got to see that story, the finished piece for the first time?
It was really neat, because you really don't know what to expect. And much like what we've heard from Brad earlier, people calling in and saying they've learned things about Hartford City, and same with me. And I've been gone for a while, so there are so many things that this has been really cool to be able to come back and learn things about your hometown and where you're from and where your roots are. So it's been neat.
As you've been watching some of the different stories, any particular patterns that have stood out, or something that jumped out at you that you didn't know about Hartford City before?
Believe it or not, some of the Godfrey Reserve things, even though I'm originally from Montpelier, and it's right there, I didn't know. And I didn't know Brian Maddox was involved in that as he is. And Brian and I used to ride to school together before I had my driver's license. So that's been neat to be able to come back and see him and see some of the other folks here tonight as well.
What would you like to say to the folks who are watching at home and thinking maybe they should call in and donate? Why is that important?
Yeah, please do. Number one, it's important for the work that you guys are doing. And I think it's just important for the community in general, not just Hartford City, but any community, that guys like me that can have moved away and have families elsewhere, but can come back to where your roots are and reestablish some relationships and some of those kind of things. So it's important. Please call in and help support the great work that you guys are doing.
Absolutely. We love it. Thank you, Todd, for being with us. And we'll throw it back over to Sarah now.
Thanks, Paul and Todd. I'm going to make a quick correction. We said the wrong people before. So Steve Fallenkamp and Catherine Costello made a donation, and they wanted to thank her parents for the dedication to their community. So we wanted to make sure that we made that clear. So no doubt you've been watching WIPB for a while. Maybe you started out as a kid or with your kids watching Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, or Zoom. I could sing the Zoom song still by heart. Or maybe you discovered the great dramas on Masterpiece or in the in-depth news on PBS NewsHour. Maybe you learned something new about your world on Nature or Nova. And maybe today you learned a little more about your neighbors in Hartford City. And maybe you never quite got around to becoming a WIPB supporter. Well, this is the perfect time for you to call in and support WIPB and Now Entering Hartford City. If you give a gift of $60, you will receive your very own copy of the DVD Now Entering Hartford City as a thank you. Or for a contribution of $108, you'll receive 2 DVDs, one for yourself and one you can give as a gift. The DVD has bonus footage that didn't make it on the show tonight, as well as behind-the-scenes footage and production day and footage from the WIPB studio. All you have to do is call 1-800-252-9472 or go online to WIPB.org.
Do you love the compelling dramas, the trustworthy news coverage, the enthralling history and science? Well, WIPB is the place you go for all of this and so much more. I know I do. Many of us grew up watching Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, Magic School Bus, Julia Child, I can still remember that, and Bob Ross. Love Bob Ross.
Yeah.
All of these programs were possible because of PBS. PBS introduced us to the concepts of educational children's programming. PBS offered original shows on cooking and DIY before anyone else. PBS now takes us across the globe, teaching us about other cultures, bringing us a variety of music and fine arts programs, and keeping us up to date on public affairs and news. WIPB has always brought us the diverse programming no one else can, and continues to do so every day. Call now to keep this quality programming going at 1-800-252-9472.
WIPB believes in making the communities we serve better. We do this through our community engagement activities, the local programming we bring like Wellness Matters, the Roundtable, and Front Row Center at Sursa Performance Hall. The Now Entering series gives us the opportunity to visit and learn more about what makes each of your hometowns unique. We met some new friends in Hartford City in the process, and some of them have joined us on the phone banks tonight. They're waiting to hear from you. They've been great, so keep those phones ringing and let us know you value WIPB and what we bring to you and your family each and every day. Call 1-800-252-9472 right now or go online at WIPB.org.
Thanks to everybody who has called in. We want to thank a few more of our community sponsors before we get to those names. Thanks to Citizen State Bank, Hartford City Chamber of Commerce, and Blackford County Economic Development. I have Pam Wiseman from Hartford City. We love living in Hartford City, and everybody here in the studio has told us that tonight as well.
That's right. I don't blame them. I mean, all this stuff that we've learned about the town
Absolutely
today,
amazing.
It looks like a great place to be. We also have Nancy Finney says hello from Muncie. So people are watching and learning about Hartford City even though they don't live there.
Again, very busy on the phones. Again, you can always call in while the program is going on, although I know you want to watch it. 1-800-252-9472 or WIPB.org. Now let's get back to Now Entering Hartford City.
I'm John Creek, and I'm here to talk about Build a Better Blackford. Our mission is to basically address blight in our community and clean up as much blight as we can. When we first started out, there would be a blighted house. I remember one of the first ones we did in Hartford City, and this house had no windows in it, no paint. It was just really run down. It was owned by the person next door to it. So I went to that person and I says, well, say, what are you thinking about this house? He says, well, I'd really like to get rid of it, but I don't have any money. And I said, well, if we took it down, is that okay? And he said, well, yeah, that'd be fine if you want to do that. So it's okay, we did that, and so that's what we did. I think he had enough money to pay for the dumpster. The rest of the stuff we recycled or repurposed, and we had community service people helping us, and so we got rid of that house, and that was the beginning of it. We've done 16 houses for the Blackford Development Corporation. Overall, I think we've worked on over 90 properties in one way or another, trying to get rid of the blight here and there. I grew up on a farm, and in your farm, you see the long term. There's no short term in farming. I guess that's part of me, and the other people that I work with on our team see that the only thing you can do is just keep moving forward. Well, we hope to really bring back quality housing to the community. Some of the properties that we get are actually rehabable, and we're able to sell those to people who will actually rehab them and get them up to good shape again. And so one of our goals is to try to get those houses when there's still some value to them, and then try to get them into the hands of a rehabber who will then restore and save that house from becoming junk. The city and the county have always been helpful, because at one time when we were heavily taking down houses ourselves, the county loaned us one of their tandem dump trucks. And so it was easier to back that truck up to a home and take the roof off and get it into that dump truck and get rid of it. The city, they send their people, Department of Public Works or the Water Department have backhoes, and sometimes they've taken a couple houses, knocked them down for us. We have to do the cleanup and whatnot, but they'll knock us down and help us to do that. So it's been a big team effort, I think, all the way along. One of our people, Pat Redmond, that works with me, she's active in the seniors center, and she says she goes there and people will say, "Hey, so what's your next project?" They know that things are improving, and that's a big part of our community, is knowing that things, instead of deteriorating, somebody is doing something to get rid of this blight. And one of the real advantages of a small community like this is that people generally want to work together. People are friendly and they're supportive and positive. That friendliness and a willingness to pitch in and help and be concerned about our fellow citizens, that's a real key thing about Hartford City.
I'm Sandy Langdon, and I'm with Langdon Brothers Seeds. George Washington Langdon bought 80 acres of ground from his father-in-law in 1869 after the Civil War. And those same 80 acres have been in the family all these years. Bob Langdon actually started the seed company in 1936. He planted his first 1 acre of seed corn in 1936. Well, that first year, after he harvested the seed in the fall and he bagged it, he had it stored in an old Chevy car. He had it in the back seat, he had it in the trunk, any place he could find to put it to protect it from the winter and from the rodents until the spring when the farmers would buy it. Ted, his younger brother, had been in the service, and when he got back from the service in 1937, I believe, he joined his brother Bob in the seed business. They had the horse pulling a wagon in the field, and they would actually pick the corn by hand. If he was a real good picker, he could pick 100 bushels a day. The first self-propelled combine that Langdon's had cut like 10 feet at a time. The ones that they have now cut about 40 feet. Today, farmers can pick 75 to 100 acres of corn a day. So there's a big difference. It's really improved. They sell seed corn, beans, wheat, oats, grass seed, pasture seed. In the spring, they also sell sweet corn and green beans. Some of Bob's father's farmer friends told Bob's father that Bob would probably lose the farm with this new fandangled hybrid seed stuff. Well, he didn't. It is now in the third generation, so Langdon Brothers is actually run by Langdon cousins now.
The city grew a lot in the 1890s thanks to the gas boom, and there was a need for a free public library. And there were some early attempts, but they all failed. And finally, in March of 1901, a 3-person committee wrote to Carnegie and asked him to provide $15,000 to build a library here in Hartford City. They sent the request, and they waited, and they waited, and they waited, and they got no reply for a long time. What they didn't know was that Carnegie was on an extended tour of Europe. And so this request was sitting on a desk, and they'd almost given up hope when he finally replied and said yes, he would finance the library. The library opened in April of 1904, and the first librarian was a lady by the name of Grace Horn. She was a local girl, and she graduated in 1900 from Hartford City High School with about 12 other students, small school. And she worked for the superintendent of schools as his office assistant. So when the library was created, she was sent to the University of Wisconsin for some training and came back and was the librarian here for about 10 years, the first 10 years of the operation of the library. The stained glass window located above the front doors was not a part of the original library, and it's the original construction. It was added in later on in the 1970s. The library board initiated a contest to create a stained glass window in 1972 and contacted the local schools to see if art students were interested in doing this. Anyway, the winner of the contest was a local art teacher by the name of Gurney Mattingly. It still is there today, lit up from behind so you can see it at night, and it's a very integral part of the front of the library.
My name is Michelle Reisinger. I am Library Director of the Hartford City Public Library, and I am here to talk about our outdoor classroom and the programming we do in the Children's Department at the library. The park is officially called the Nature Play Park. We were approached by the Blackford Initiative, which is an outreach arm of the Blackford County Community Foundation. They brought us the idea. They knew we had this empty lot behind the library, and they thought this would be a good use of the property for the community. There were many, many discussions with the library board at the time, and we decided this was something that fit our mission. Our original design for the park was created by Pam Harwood from Ball State University. As the kids use it, there are changes that we decide we want to make. So it's kind of this living beast, and I think it will continue to be so as time goes on. I'm not seeing a point where the park is done. I'm viewing it more as, okay, so 10 years down the road, if the kids don't use this activity area, let's redo it. The combination of being able to get books and getting a little bit of playground time has been a good combination, I think. The park is going to become an integral part of our programming going forward, and I want it to be basically an extension of the children's department. What I'm working on right now is getting bond money to take off the atrium that's on the back of the library, make a small extension, and add doors that will go straight from the children's department right into that park, both allowing safe passage for the kids from the library to the park, but also, creating that feel that it is part of the library. It may be outside, but it is the library as well. Communities can really move mountains when they do work together, and it's been wonderful to be a part of.
I'm Maxie Malott, and I am a member of Sigma Phi Gamma Sorority, now Sigma Phi Gamma International Sorority. We were founded on August the 29th, 1920, almost 100 years ago. That's been a while back. There were 18 friends from here in Hartford that wanted to get together and have a friendship sorority. Some of the girls had, at that point in their life, been to college and had come back to Hartford, and they needed that friendship. They didn't want an academic sorority, but they wanted friends. They wanted their friends to get together, to have a purpose to get together. So that's how it all started. And we have chapters all over the United States currently, and in Canada. In 1945, there was 12.4 acres that was dedicated to our life founders, which were the 5 ladies that maintained their friendships and their work within Sigma Phi Gamma. And it's started with a great big blank field, and now it's full of slides and swings and baseball field, softball field, pee-wee football, active place all the time, busy. In 2020, we are going to have a centennial, 100-year birthday party. And I just cannot imagine how much fun it's going to be. Everybody's going to meet in St. Louis, and probably have 400, 500, 600 women there. And I am hoping, and I think it probably will happen, as in 1920, there were 18 young women started this sorority. In 2020, I'm hoping that they will have an initiation of at least 18 new members.
I'm Teresa Henderson. I'm president of the Hartford City Park Board. In Hartford City, we have 5 parks. We have Kings Park. It's on the south end of town. It's named after a longtime superintendent of the parks. We offer playgrounds, shelter houses, and restrooms at that park. And across the creek, we offer a skateboard park. And then to the west, we offer horseshoe pits. We have Hoover Park, which was established in 1916. We have a basketball court that was newly renovated from a local family. It was a memorial to their father, who was a 5th grade ball coach here at the junior high in Hartford City. And so we've named it Overholser Court. We oversee Sigma Phi Gamma Park. We oversee the Memorial Pool Park, which includes a playground, open shelter house, and our memorial swimming pool. We had over 4,000 swimmers last year. We had 56 children get swim lessons at the memorial pool last summer. We actually have a wilderness park area, which covers about 50 acres. There's hiking year-round, a place to get out into nature. We have a dog park there. We have nature trails, which leads back to our newest project, which is at the Wilderness Park, where we have a prairie restoration. Professor Colby Gray from the landscape architecture class has networked with us on a design build at the prairie to connect our prairie to our nature trails. The parks are important in Hartford City to get people out into the community, to give a place for the youth in our community to have places to go. They can play ball, they can go to the skate park, they can go swimming in the summertime. It's important that we have the park system.
The Hartford City Urban Forest Greenscape Commission is the local tree board. We are responsible for seeing that trees are properly maintained on public spaces and on city-owned properties. We are a mixture of city residents and county residents that care deeply about this community and the appearance that we show our visitors when they come to this community. Recently, we have partnered with the Hartford City Library. They are doing a nature playscape for children on their property, and they asked us if we would help out with them, and we are in the process of putting 7 new native trees over on their property. A number of years ago, I noticed that we just no longer had the Christmas decorations that we had as I was a child growing up here in Hartford City. I looked around and went to our commission and said, what can we do to make the Christmas season, the holiday season brighter for everyone? And we came up with the idea of, let's decorate the downtown. The centerpiece of our community is our courthouse, and each year for the last 6 years or so, we've decorated the downtown for Christmas. And it's funny, each year now, usually in June or July, I have residents asking me, what's our theme going to be for Christmas? For Arbor Day, we always would plant a tree in one of the parks or one of the city-owned properties. And we thought to ourselves, how can we get the kids more involved? And what could we do to get them, to enjoy and appreciate nature more at a young age? And we thought, let's do a tree pass out. So every year for Arbor Day now, we do plant a tree for Arbor Day, but we also hand out saplings 2 to 3 feet in height to the children. And we have received a lot of positive feedback from that, from kids and from their parents. We look for areas of opportunity in the community. What else could we tackle? What other projects could be done? What areas of beautification need to be looked at? And we've kind of branched out, just not from trees, but beautifying. And that's how the litter cleanup came to be about. And it's been a successful, wonderful event for the community. To see folks come up to you and ask you in July what you're doing for Christmas, and when the snow's flying, what plants and flowers are you putting in this year? What tree projects do you have? You know, that makes us feel really good and know that we're making a difference, and that's what we're shooting for. We're trying to make the community more inviting for visitors. I love Hartford City because it's a healthy, happy, safe community to live in. I would not want to raise my daughter anywhere else other than Hartford City. I knew what Hartford City meant to me growing up as a child, and I want that to mean the same to her and every other child.
Common Grounds is a community coffee shop. It's kind of the downtown social gathering place here in Hartford City. We've got a great menu of wraps and several different coffees and frappes and cappuccinos. A normal coffee shop fare, just like Starbucks, only better. I put in some time at Common Grounds. I don't do a lot of work over there, but I step and fetch and keep the light bulbs changed and the sidewalks swept and things of that sort. Yeah, we purchased Briscoe Block about a year ago, and it was in really bad shape. It's a lot better than it was, but we've still got a lot of work to do on it. There was a hole in the roof that was about big enough to drop a bus through, and it had leaked for the last probably 30 years anyway. And the second floor had rotted out of it. And so we've put a new roof on, and we've got the windows replaced in the south side of the building. So now we keep the water and the snow and the pigeons out and keep the heat in. We're eventually going to turn it into the new coffee shop. We're going to move from where we're at, a block down the street. We intend to put an entertainment area in so we can have local groups and bands come in and have some entertainment in the downtown in the future. To my best guess estimation is there's probably been at least 40 businesses in there in the last 120 years. So I think it's good to preserve these locations so that generations coming up will have some connectivity to somewhere. Because once they're gone, they're gone. It's never going to be what it was in 1893 when it was first built, but it's still going to have, most of its character. The memories are still in those walls, and that's why I say if those walls could talk, the tales they'd tell. Northeast corner, the old building that was there used to be Bill's Market, has been tore down, and we've got a brand new apartment complex going up, which looks really good and promising. I know of a couple of different families that are moving to town, and this is where they're going to live. They came for the school system. I think it's nothing but a positive. I think if you've got people that live down here, they're going to want to go to a coffee shop. They may want to go to a candy store. They may want to go to a place within walking distance of their apartment and see a live show of some kind. I see a lot of things happening in and around Hartford City that's positive. We're moving in the right direction.
Everyone has a story to tell, and we heard some great ones in that segment, and we've heard them around the studio tonight. It has been amazing. Thanks for joining us for Now Entering Hartford City tonight on WIPB. Again, I'm Brad Edmondson along with Sarah Gullion. We are so happy you could join us to celebrate stories from Hartford City.
Yeah, and we cannot thank the people in town of Hartford City enough for participating in this series. It's their stories you're hearing come to life on screen. Residents tackled the question, what makes Hartford City so special? And I think we've already seen that the answer is a lot. The production crew spent a day with the storytellers at the Blackford County Courthouse learning all about the people, places, and events that make their hometown unique.
There was certainly no shortage of stories in Hartford City. We've enjoyed such a variety this evening, and you can enjoy the stories anytime with your own copy of tonight's program. We've talked about the stories and things being told around the studio. You can only get that on the DVD. So when you call in with a gift of $60, we'll send you the Now Entering Hartford City DVD as a thank you. Or if you can give a little bit more with a gift of $108, we'll send you 2 DVDs as a thank you. One of those you can send to Hume, New York. There's bonus material on the DVD that you won't see on the program tonight, including a look behind the scenes as I just talked about. All you have to do is call in and talk to one of the volunteers behind me at 1-800-252-9472 or go online at wipb.org.
We want to take a minute to thank the rest of our community sponsors who help bring you this program. Petoskey Plastics, CDC Investments, and Hartford City Veterinary Services. Thank you for your support. And now we can take a look at who we've heard from tonight as well and thank a few people who've called in.
Absolutely. I've got Judy Trees from Hartford City. She enjoyed seeing her students. She was teaching math during the exciting 1979 football season, but Todd does not remember having you as a teacher.
Oh, no.
All I'm gonna say. Just saying.
Oh, gosh.
Just saying.
That's
what I know.
Maybe he was more focused on football.
He was.
You know. Also, we have somebody who I hear most of the town will recognize this name. Loopy Dell called in from Hartford City, and she said she is Hartford City proud.
Bob Cooper from Hartford City called in and said hello to the Rotary.
We also heard from Eric Smith on Facebook. He says Hartford City is a good city.
Jim Ferguson called in from Common Ground, so you just saw a story on them. The coffee shop in Hartford City, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for letting us feature you on the program this evening.
We also got on Facebook, Paige Clary Waters says, we saw Nanny on TV.
Not sure who she was. There were a lot of folks on the program tonight and a lot of folks here in studio. So thank you guys very much for watching and calling in.
That's right. Donna Slater-Kreitz was also calling or making a comment from Facebook. She's watching from Granite City, Illinois.
There you go. Yeah. So again, we still have folks on the phone. There's still an opportunity to call in this evening. There's a couple folks who aren't busy on the phone right now, so let's make them busy.
But thanks to all of you who have called in for sharing and supporting and being a part of viewing experience that only WIPB can provide.
Think back for a moment to all the places you've been with WIPB in 2019. WIPB has been your companion for enchanting drama on Masterpiece and Mystery. WIPB has been your friend, bringing the inspiration of nature and finding your roots. WIPB has been your teacher with American Masters, American Experience, and Nova. WIPB has been there for your children with Sesame Street, Molly of Denali, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, and so many others. WIPB has been your watchdog with PBS NewsHour, Frontline, and Washington Week. Now imagine, where will we go? What will we do? What will we see together in 2020? Our future is stronger when this community joins in a common purpose to support real science, unbiased news, engaging history, powerful storytelling, intriguing discoveries, and so much more. Please join your neighbors in supporting WIPB tonight at 1-800-252-9472 or online at wipb.org.
The mission of WIPB is powered by our common spirit, the spirit of public service and community enrichment. WIPB is here for all ages and backgrounds, from the tiny tots to grandparents and everyone in between. If it's quality television with impact, you know you will find it on WIPB. We need your support to keep programming that is entertaining, educational, and innovative on WIPB. Programs that you can't find anywhere else. Programs like Now Entering Hartford City. WIPB loves being able to connect to viewers with great local stories and storytellers through this series. Call now at 1-800-252-9472 or go online to show your support for Hartford City and WIPB. Call 1-800-252-9472 or go online now.
Part fundraiser, part community builder, part historical and cultural documentary, and part a day in the life video scrapbook. Now Entering shares the local legends, historical happenings, and backyard secrets of our towns. WIPB believes in making the communities we serve better. We do this through our community engagement, activities, and through the local programming we bring you, like Odd Squad, Be an Agent Science Camp, Be My Neighbor Day, Wellness Matters, The Round Table, and of course, Now Entering. When you call in to support WIPB, we have some thank you gifts for you. With your gift of $60, we'll send you the Now Entering Hartford City DVD. For a gift of $108, you'll receive 2 DVDs to say thank you. We have lots of bonus material on the DVD, including behind the scenes of production day at the Blackford County Courthouse and here in the WIPB studios, plus photos and videos not seen in the program tonight. All you have to do is call 1-800-252-9472 or go online to WIPB.org.
What makes this program unique is the residents of the town get to tell their stories, what they think is special about their own town. We've seen a lot of stories tonight, and Paul Brown, one of the now entering producers, is with one of the storytellers to learn a little bit more about their experience in helping bring this program to you. Paul?
Ethan Cox, and you might remember him from earlier in the program, sharing the story of the Hartford City Civil War days. And Ethan, thanks for joining us here in the studio tonight for this fun time. I understand you spent some time in Hartford City growing up, and you are now working in Hartford City. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So currently I'm a police officer with the city, day to day, keeping the citizens safe, working with a great group of guys, keeping Blackford County safe together, working together to protect our future.
As you've been watching the show here for the first time tonight, what's it been like watching all these different stories?
It's really been amazing to see all these stories come together. It's really small town America, really the pride in Hartford City, coming together, joining, exchanging those stories and really talking with one another and learning there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of history to learn.
One of the threads that I've seen kind of throughout the program is all these different organizations, individuals working in their own different ways to make Hartford City a better place. What's kind of been your big takeaway or something that stood out to you as you watch the different stories?
Everybody is here to help. They want to help make this community better. This program has really shown that these citizens are here to help and want to make Blackford County exceed. They want to put Blackford County on the map where people know it. When you say Blackford County, Hartford City, it's not where it's at, it's like, what can you tell me about there?
We've said it many times, this is one of our favorite programs that we do, and we're celebrating Hartford City and already starting to think about what are the next towns that will be able to have participate in this. And that's part of why we're having folks call in. And you've taken some phone calls yourself over on the phone bank.
I have.
Why do you think it's important for folks to call in tonight and become members of WIPB?
Because it's a great organization. They need to donate. That way we can continue doing this, continue seeing these small towns tell their stories, tell them what's happening here. Because so much history is out there, we can learn it all.
So thank you, Ethan, for joining us, and we're going to throw it back over to Brad and Sarah. Take it away.
Thanks again to all the sponsors who supported this program, and thanks to all of you who called in and joined the WIPB family tonight to support the programming you love.
Let's read some of those names.
I was going to say, some more people calling in on Facebook.
Yeah, from Facebook, I've got Karen Cormier. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. She said, awesome job, WIPB and Hartford City. I love this small town.
David Beal from Hartford City, great show. Seeing people he's known through the years, really appreciates those memories.
And then this says, in honor of Blackford County Civil War Reenactment Club. Thank you to all of the members of the club. The community takes great pride in all you do.
What's the acronym for that?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
We're not even going to go there. Okay, gotcha. Lucy Jackson Bayless remembers prom as a child, walked over to the high school to see the kids dress up. What a cool story that was. That really was. Being the first ones to have a prom night and something that went forward. That was really cool. I like that.
Very. So if you're currently a member of WIPB, whether you give every month or every year, thanks. Every contribution you make to this station strengthens our community by allowing us to provide programming you trust, programming that informs and entertains, programming that makes a difference.
Thanks again to the wonderful residents of Hartford City for sharing their stories and for volunteering their time. They're all behind us. They've been in the studio tonight. It's been amazing. If you would like to nominate your town for consideration, send a note or give us a call. WIPB wants to share the stories of your town told by you. Watch for the next Now Entering episode this summer.
And if you haven't made that call yet, there is still time. 1-800-252-9472 or go online to WIPB.org. With your gift of $60, we'll send you the Now Entering Hartford City DVD or for a gift of $108, we'll send you 2 DVDs to say thank you. And there's lots of bonus material on the DVD not seen in the program tonight. So make that call now.
Thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks for supporting your local PBS station, WIPB.
Thanks so much.